So we're going to take this information and we're going to put it on the back side. We've got our account names for our ledgers. This one's actually 2 pages. So you have this page, then you'll have this page. So page 59, 60, and 61. So our instructions, we've got all of our accounts up here. And then I'm going to post the separate amounts that need to be posted individually. Save your work for 4-3. Well, this is easy. The easiest way to do this is to go through it line by line. So I'm going to start with the first line. Now, so you know where the information's coming from, we've got our account name, we've got our dates, but then we've got our columns. So we've got money in both columns. So the one on the end, that's our cash column. So I'm going to go ahead and you can, if you want to, you don't have to, make a note up here at the top. This is going to be for your cash account. Okay, so these are our special amount columns. And of course this one's going to be sales. And you know they're labeled right at the top anyway. But just, you know, so if you want to, just so you know, point it out, they're labeled. So then we've got our general account. That's going to be the amounts that we use for everything else except sales and cash. So our first account is for Leonard's Capital account. So find your, it's going to be on the other sheet. So find your sheet. It's on 61 from the workbook. If you got them torn out, it's easy to find. But at the top it says Leonard's Capital. So we have our first transaction.
Wait, Mr. Crum, I have a question.
Yeah.
Before you continue.
That's all right.
Are we going to turn these papers into you so there's no point in keeping them in the book?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you'll turn these into me, so you can tear them out of the book if you need to. So March 1st. So we've got our date here, March 1st. We don't need to write anything in here. We can leave that one blank. And then we've got our amount. So our general credit is $5,000. So here's where our transactions go. So we have a credit of $5,000. So now we've entered this track, or we've entered this transaction number. So now we have a new balance. So now our new balance is $5,000 credit. So this column is going to be for our transactions. This column is going to be for our updated balance after the transactions. So then the other thing we need to fill in here is our posting reference. This came from page 1 of the journal. So we can just write 1 in here because it was on page 1. And then see, we've got a posting reference box here. This came from account 310. So we can put 310 right here. So this is also kind of a way, if you have your account number written in here, it's kind of a self-check. Yeah, I've got that one posted in the ledger. Because you've already got your account number listed in here. So this is what you should have so far. So we'll go down to the next account. Okay, so we've got prepaid insurance. So we need to find the prepaid insurance, and it's on the back. It's on the back of that sheet. So here's our prepaid insurance. And that one was on March 3rd. We don't need to write anything in here. We can leave that blank. We already know it's from page 1 of our journal. So we can put a 1 right here. And then let's look for our amount. So our prepaid insurance, that's $660 debit. So we'll go back here. Here's our debit column. So we'll put 660 in here. So now remember we've got our balance section, so now we've got a new balance. So our balance is $660 debit. And don't forget, we've got to put our account number on the other side, so account number is 140. So we'll go back to the other side for our posting reference of 140. And now our insurance is in a ledger. So the next one we have is supplies. So we'll find our supplies account. Oh, right on the back side. Get the date. March 4th. So here's supplies. March 4th. It's page 1 of our journal. Let's get the amount. $78 debit. So we got 78 here. And our new balance is $78 debit. Then we just need to put our account number 130 in there. Okay, so for this transaction, looks like the supplies were sold on account. So now we've got, and they were sold to Josh, so now we've got to enter a transaction for Josh. So accounts payable. So we'll find Josh's account here. And if you want to look in the book too, I'll show you where the examples are. So, account from the general debit column, posting a second amount in the column, so that's the second one, that's the first one. Now we've got examples for all these right here in the book. So account payable, Josh Supplies. So here this is accounts payable, Joshua Supplies. That was on March 4th. We know it was page number 1 from the journal. And then just like on the front of this, it's a $78 credit. Double check something here. So we've got our new account balance. Like that. Okay, so then, got to get his account number. Account number 210. So right now we're going to skip sales and cash for now. So now we'll just go down to the next transaction, accounts receivable for Danielle on March 9th. So we'll find our accounts receivable. Page 1 from the journal and see how much we got going on here. $163 debit. It was 163. So our new balance is 163. And we've got to do our account number. So we've got rent expense. That's on the loose sheet, so we don't have to flip that one over, fortunately. So the rent's on March 12th. Now it was a $375 debit. So our new balance there is $375. Their account number is 510. Okay, so now we've got another accounts payable for Josh for $50 on the 15th. So we've already got the word March right here, so all we have to do is write 15 on here. Because here's our accounts payable for Josh. So that's $50 in the debit column. $50. That's for the pennies, for the cents. Yeah. So 50. Page 1 of our journal. $50 in the debit. Okay, so now we've got a new transaction, so we're going to have a new balance. So if he's already got a credit of 78, then a debit of 50, we're just going to subtract the 50 from the 78. So now we're down to 28 credit. So he paid $50 towards that 78. Now he only owes $28. So remember that's a biggie. We're going to do a lot more of these journals the rest of the school year. So just remember, when you have a credit and a debit, they apply to each other. So I've got a lot of students in the past, they will take that 50 and add it to the 78 and try to make it 128, but we're just down to 28. Okay, so, we got to get her this count number. Count number 210. We've got accounts receivable from Danielle. $100 credit. So here's Danielle's $100 credit. So our accounts receivable, she owed us money, so she owed us $163. I got the accounts payable on Josh backwards, just not paying attention. So the accounts receivable, she owed us $163. She paid $100. So now her new balance is down to $63 debit. She still owes us $63, and that was on the 16th. Go ahead and get her account number on there while I'm thinking about it. Account 120. I misspoke down here. I just misspoke. Got like 10 minutes. We're almost done. Okay, so our last one is for Leonard's drawing account. $1,000 debit on the 25th. Here's the drawing account, 25th March, page 1 of the journal, $1,000. Oh, wrong side. Too much page flipping. $1,000 debit. So our balance, we got $1,000 debit. Account's 320. Okay, so the last ones we have, sales and cash. So our sales on the 31st, $838. So we got sales, we'll date this on the 31st. Sales, sales credits. I'm getting wrong page. This one. Sales credit $838. So we'll just put that over here. $838. Credit. New balance $838. And then to show that, because we're not going to put an account number in there, we'll just put a check mark at the bottom to show that we've got the cash is entered. I'm sorry, the sales. So now we're going to do the cash, which is on the back of this sheet. So we'll date this the 31st. So we're going to have a debit of $57.75. So then with the debit, we're going to have a new credit now. I'm sorry, a new balance. $57.75. So we'll put our check mark. Now we're going to have a credit of $20.85. Like that. And our new balance is going to be, so we've got a debit, so we're going to take the $57.75 minus $20.85. So obviously the debit that existed was higher than the credit, so we're still going to have a debit. $36.90. I think where the sales went. Yep. I forgot to put the page 1 there, sales. So that is